Hello, hello, hello. I am so glad that you guys could be here today. Welcome to another hobby hangout or hobby hour or whatever I decide the name's going to be this week. So this time, instead of basing, we're going to be doing a little bit of painting, and I have two heroes here. Sorry, this guy's a little hard to see with the exposure, and white primer is not a great combination. I have a couple of heroes that we're going to be painting up in this episode, and I hope you guys end up enjoying this. My plan... First, we have this Stormcast Eternals Standard Bearer, and the idea is that I'd like to paint him up in the same style as our Age of Sigmar we did a few months ago. Yes, I do make the names up as I go along. So we're going to be doing brass armor with some a little bit of some red details, some London gray, and then we're going to be doing all of the cloth down here in royal blue with those touches of emerald and gray and white to really bring them out and make them look great. My apologies, I was doing some spray painting this morning, so it's all over my fingers, including this guy. So yeah, that's the plan for what we're going to do with him. I've gone ahead, like I said, and primed him in white to make sure that he is nice and bright. So we'll set that aside. And just to make sure that there are no gaps because of drying times, I've also gone ahead and grabbed this Killaboss on foot, along with the little Stab-grot that comes with him. And we're going to be painting him up today as well. Now, those of you who've been with the channel for a while will probably remember we actually did paint another Killaboss. Sorry, his weapon got a little maimed in storage. We did paint another Killaboss a few months ago in the sort of standard Cruel Boys style, that standard for this channel that we've been doing. But this time, I thought it might be fun, I know I've mentioned wanting to do this in the past, to paint him up in the same style as the ice grots that we've done previously. So we're going to do the azure skin and the bright orange blade as opposed to the sort of gloss cherry red that we've done previously. I really need to fix that weapon. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Like I said, the goal is to not have any gaps in terms of the painting footage, although I guess I could just pause this. It's not a live stream in the future. I could do that. Oh well. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the content. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all those good things. It does help the channel so much. And let's just go ahead and get started here. So which one do I want to start with first? I feel like he's going to be a little bit easier. Oh, one last thing before I forget to mention it. I did, of course, bring my coffee. I made... Oh, man. So what I made was a Americano with some salted cold foam. However, the cold foam itself melted almost instantly. Oh, I wish you could see from the sides, but it would just spill all over the place. But it's got this, it still has this gorgeous profile. I swear it's a good-looking drink and absolutely delicious. But that cold foam just melts so fast. We're going to leave that up there. Ooh. Ah, yeah, that coffee's good. I needed that caffeine. We're going to go ahead and get started with him, and I think we're going to start... Should we start with the cloth, or should we start with the actual armor itself? I think because we have so many of these recessed areas, we're going to go ahead and start with the cloth. So I'm going to break out the royal blue and get started on that. I should get a wet palette one of these days, but it's just never really thought I needed one for some reason. A little too much water on there. That should do. We have quite a few more layers to do on this, so I'm not too worried about messing anything up just yet. Not at all. Not at all. I always want to start with the color that is deepest in the recesses. This sword is going to be the last thing that we paint. Definitely. These banners down here are going to be white later, so I'm going to leave them untouched for right now. Though we may have to fix them a bit if I end up sloshing some of this blue on them. I've really liked a lot of the new Stormcast stuff they've been announcing recently. It looks great. I love that someone on Reddit was doing the comparison of the new, I don't know the actual name of the unit, the Sanguinarian something from the Blood Angels line that they just announced, and comparing it to the new AOS models and saying that they just did not compare. I don't know if that's totally true, even as an AOS player slash painter, which I feel like that's true for a lot of AOS players, but they're more painters than they are actual players of the tabletop game. The new models do look great, though. I mean, obviously, I would always prefer that both factions just have good models. But given how much 40k fans do love to crap on Age of Sigmar players sometimes, it's a little bit satisfying, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to go ahead and paint the armor on the inside here in blue. I'm not going to try to get his leg here in gold. There's just no point. It would be a pain for absolutely no gain. I'll be putting a wash in here later, so I'm not going to get... I'd like to get further into those recesses, but I just don't want to spend the time and energy on it. Not when that time and energy could go to other things. Get the back of this, though. When commenting on this video, be sure to let me know whether you guys would like to see painting, basing, kit bashing, like what aspect of the hobby would you like to see in this sort of uncut format. I think painting would probably be the most interesting personally, so that's probably what I'm going to lean toward in the future. But if you have other ideas, especially if you guys want to see some live kit bashing, I would be super down for that. It looks great so far. Excellent. Oh, I think that was just the light. I thought that was a white spot. It's just the light hitting it. All right. Are there any other areas I want to get? Do I want to get these? What would a good color for the banner be? I hadn't really thought about it. Maybe like a purple. I want it to stand out. We've already done one banner for the Stormcast in red and green when we did the Silver Stormcast a while ago. I think purple would be a good color for this one, and it would give me an opportunity to experiment with purple and green, which we're going to be using on our new Dark Angels army here soon, and I think it would go well. So I think we're going to go with purple and green for that. Yeah. That'll look good. But I'm not going to paint the banner. Maybe it will be better. Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and just do the banner next. Where is that purple? Should have mixed a little less paint. I'll switch to a smaller brush when getting around his head. For right now, I just need to get the base color on there. That was a bit too thin. It's all right. Not the end of the world. And we do need to fill in quite a few, not deep recesses, but recesses and odd areas, and a thinner paint is good for that anyway. Always got to look on the bright side. Always got to be able to handle things going wrong, because things will go wrong. And I hope that while you're watching this, you're working on that pile of shame of your own. I see it. I see that pile of shame. There we go. Looking good so far. All right. Let's switch over to that smaller brush. If you can hear any water sounds being picked up by the mic, that's because that's where my brush water is. Sorry, I only have so much space on the table on my desk. Besides, I find water sounds. I can't speak today. I find water sounds to be very relaxing, so might be some unintentional ASMR. There we go. All right. It was thinner than I wanted, but that's okay. We actually used brass to the armor on that Age of Sigmar. The reason for that... Ooh, wow. Oh, no. Oh, some dried gunk on there. All right, clean that off quickly. The reason I chose to go with brass was because it has Vallejo brass has a slight orange tint, a slight maybe reddish tint would be a better way of putting it, and that pairs very, very well with doing a that's really thin. That's way too thin. That pairs very, very well when doing a model with a lot of blue undertones. Way too much water on this, but it'll survive. It'll be okay. He's already died once. God, that is so thin. It's alright, we can build up more layers. It's not the end of the world. We'll come back to it later if we need to. I do want to be careful around this blue. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to touch that up now. Oh well. Oh, you can see where I touched the blue there. Definitely gonna need to fix that. It's alright. It's not the only thing I'm gonna need to fix. Gosh. Hit the same spot. Well, raised areas, that happens. That purple's getting a little too involved here. Get out of there. Get out of there. You get out of there. Yep, paints were definitely thinner than I'd hoped, but that's far from the end of the world. Quick reminder of what we're working toward here. Okay, we're getting there. It's gonna take a bit, but we're getting there. What else do we need? I'm gonna give this guy. Do I want to give him a second to dry? I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the London Grey on there too for the weapons and the metals. I never remember. Well, there's always at least a few paints that I forget until suddenly I'm actually on camera. Too much water again. I'll use black red on that. I normally call this the McDonald's toy phase, but with how many primary colors, it's more like coloring book phase. No. That's probably going to happen more and more as the caffeine hits me. Oh, the hands are going to start shaking. I don't know how caffeinated miniatures does that. Okay. I do actually want to get a few more. Get these rocks down here. some gray. Okay. I think I missed a spot of blue down there too. That's okay. There's a little bit of purple in his armpit. Nope, no, don't rinse off your brush in the coffee. That's bad. I was just about to. That blue is now just destroyed. Let's touch this up. That spot that I missed. There we go. Okay. I think that's just about all I can do in terms of the primaries right now, although I am going to really quickly get some black-red to do that loincloth chain thing and his belt. It's going to be the last thing that I do right now. I shouldn't need very much. Making a lot of mistakes, but a lot of these are going to get covered by the wash anyway. We still have a whole another round of highlights to do. Whole another round. So I'm not worried about it just yet. And for those of you who claim that you don't have the time or energy to paint your minis, I'll remind you, take a look at how much time this has taken me to get this far. I mean, you can paint your minis. You have the time to paint your minis. Absolutely. Okay. Under there. There we go. All right. We'll leave the sword white. Leave these white. Let's see if I can take that gold off with just a little bit of water instead of having to paint over it. Is it dry? Yeah, it's pretty dry. Yeah, I'm going to have to cover that. And before I do, let me get this armpit. Get that purple out of there. That'll do. And there we go. Perfect. Oh, come on. Come on. All right, perfect-ish. Okay. That should do just fine. We'll go ahead and let him dry. When we come back to him, first I'm going to... don't want to try to get the base done? I really need to get it done. I always feel like having the base at least base coated helps to add a lot of context to the actual model itself. Is this dry enough I can grip it? It is. Okay. I also don't want to add the wash until that's done. Yeah, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do that. So let's break out the cork brown real fast. Actually. I am not going to even try to get into those deep recesses with this brush. Not at all. Just having all that white covered helps so much. And I'm probably going to have to touch up that purple, but that's okay. I think that's all of it. Yeah. I still got some washes to put on the base itself too. So yeah, that is base coats completely done under half an hour actually. Can't touch the base. Yeah, you could totally leave this here and have a well-painted model that's well past the 3-color minimum if you ever wanted to. Now let's go ahead and start tackling these bad boys. While I have a little bit of cork brown, I may as well go ahead and get that around his feet. While I already have the paint, no point in wasting it. And he's probably going to need a couple layers. Yeah, probably not actually. It's we're gonna wash this in a green anyway, so I think the emerald green is not too far off from this. So having some extra green upon green is not bad. There we go. Got some of the difficult areas painted. I can still touch the rim. It looks really glossy, but it's dry. It's actually been dry for a couple of hours now. The paint itself is just really glossy. Now, where do we want to start with him? Oh, I got a lot of... We're not going to do most of the armor panels, but I do want to go ahead... What do I want to do? Let's look at what paints I still have that are still wet that we can use. And the black red's still good. Let's go ahead and apply that. Use a little bit of water. Let's go ahead and use that so as to not waste anything on this wooden handle. I'm going to make that part in gray. Yeah, I can go ahead and paint this too. That could be fun. Would that be a different color? And the biggest color it's going to need is cork brown. Also got quite a bit of brass here, and that is dry for the most part, so that's not really useful. Don't have much use for the purple, the blue. That's okay. Gray is still good, so we'll touch a few of these areas. No, we don't want that in gray. And this part. Are there any other areas I'm going to want gray? No, I don't think so. Maybe here. Okay, that's looking good. I think that's about all I wanted. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab some more cork brown. I don't know why I'm still drinking coffee, as my hands aren't shaking enough. Apply this to all of these ropes, straps, rope bundle things that the Cruel Boys have. I don't know what they're called. Don't worry, the skin's going to get touched up later, so I'm not too worried about that. But I don't want to get too much paint on the panels and the clothing, I guess? I don't know. Oh, then I immediately did. Oh well. We are still going to go over that with another layer too. So nothing on here is unfixable. Should we mess it up? Sorry, I mess it up. these things. There's a lot of smaller ones, but I'm not going to do those right now. I don't really see a point. I'm going to have to touch them up anyway. I think it's about all of them, yeah. Oh, wait, no. Of course, as soon as I say that, I'm gonna notice a couple of more. That's why I have to say it, because otherwise I wouldn't have noticed those at all. But as soon as I say I've gotten all of them, well, then 6 more will appear that I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Okay. I think that's all of them. Wait. There's one. Wait, there's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. Back of the shield. There we go. Found one. I think that's all of them. Nope, I think we're good. I think we're good. Now for the Stab-grot. That's drawing very quickly. Okay. Another quick reminder, if you made it this far, remember to hit that like button. Helps the channel a ton. And man, I need more cork brown paint. I feel like I use cork brown for absolutely everything. I just run through it so fast. Using on the ropes here, I still got to paint the bases with it. That's all I'm going to do on there. He's got these things on his face. You know what? Let's go ahead. May as well. I'll touch him up after the wash too. I think that's all of them. Nope. There they are. There they are. There they are. There they are. And there's a couple more. There. Back at the the shield, always an obnoxious place to paint, but satisfying. Could always just paint them before I assemble them, but I think that's more obnoxious personally. I love the way the mouth looks with those slots. It's so creepy looking. And it's just a helmet, it's not his actual face, but still. Alright. Now, what is next? I guess we're going to move straight on to the skin tone. There's not a whole lot of other details to get on here. In terms of the straps, the skin, the weapons. That's really it. I didn't even paint the actual... I didn't even paint the weapon to the degree that we're doing this guy. Okay, I got another bottle of Azure if we need it. Let's start with that and see how far we can get. There's too much water. All right. Oh yeah, this is gonna look great. I can already tell. I can already tell. I can already tell. Yeah, well, not worried about the blade. Let me get that anyway. I'm gonna paint that again later. Gonna end up looking a lot like a Nordic ice troll, which I'm super down for the record. By the way, I know I opted out of doing these live because I despise the idea of trying to... I'm already doing this in kind of a weird position compared to how I normally paint, which is fine because, you know, if you guys find it interesting, then I want to give it a shot. But having a live audience at the same time would have just been too much. And also, I just don't like the idea of live streaming, especially when I feel like most of my channel is going to interact with the content afterward anyway. Like, I want a lot of this stuff to be good stuff people can put on the background. I feel like for long-form content on YouTube these days, that's how most people are enjoying it. It's just kind of background stuff. Even a lot of Twitch content, honestly, that is live. But if you guys want to leave questions for me to answer, I'm happy to do that. I actually might just go ahead. I was already thinking about assembling some of the hobbying questions I've gotten, but I've been pretty good about... The volume hasn't been overwhelming because the channel's still pretty small. So I've been replying to most of them in the actual comment section because there's not like thousands of them, it's just a couple. But if you have questions about me or the channel or hobbying that you want me to answer in the video, feel free to let me know because I'm happy to do that and help provide some information for you guys on, well, hobbying and whatnot. Ooh, can I get in there? Yeah, a little bit. Good enough. And this knee should be good to go. And of course, when I'm answering questions, I hope you guys are working on your pile of shame. I see it. I see that pile of shame. All right. Then again, why do that when you can go on Instagram and learn all about the Mercedes CLR from some educational meme content? God, Instagram's going down the tube. Okay. There. Perfect. That's not the back of his neck. That's the clothing. Okay. I think that he's right about where we need to be outside of the base, but we're going to get that alongside the grot. So let's go ahead and get his skin done too. Yeah, I'm very excited for how these are going to turn out. I think this is going to be a great project. Very, very excited. Now, once the washing is done, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up because that's going to take way too long to dry. That's probably going to be not till tomorrow. So I'm not going to do that here in front of you guys. Wait for the entire wash to dry. But I will put at least a couple of pictures up in the YouTube community. And I'll tag whatever album I make on Instagram after the fact. I wish you could make albums on Instagram. I'll put photos of them on Instagram, and I'll throw that down in the comment section. So if you're watching this months or years later, they should already be there. And if you're watching this when it comes out, you should be able to, if you're patient, they'll be there within a couple of days. Once the wash dries, and then I'll definitely add some photos of them after the wash, and then do some photos with the highlights. I'm not sure if I'll do another hobby hour or whatever I decide to call this show of the highlights. I don't know if it would be... I mean, yeah, I think you guys would find that interesting. We'll see. We'll just have to see. I still have a lot more Cruel Boys to do. Okay. Yeah, that's going to look fantastic. Oh, that's going to look great. That's going to look great. All right. I almost did again. I almost rinsed off my brush in the coffee. Again, almost. That's the danger of having that there in the shot. That's the danger of it. Okay. So yeah, just the base now for these guys. Get the big brush. Not sure quite yet how I want to paint the Stormcast at his feet. It's a cool detail. I really like it. Although it kind of breaks the lore because the Stormcasts are supposed to disappear once they die, you know, get zapped back up into the ether like demons. That's the whole point. I am really glad to see Games Workshop leaning into the idea of them being, you know, again, they're demons of order. Make them demons of order. Let them be demons of order. With all of the implications and how messed up that is. Alright. He is now ready for washes. The Stab-grot is almost the same. And he's ready for washes too. These are going to look so good. I'm so excited for these. I am so, so excited. Now, how's my man looking here? Ooh, that base is still definitely wet. Yeah. Looks great so far. Looks fantastic so far. But I just don't think it's quite ready for the wash yet. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video right here. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to leave these guys in front of the fan for a little bit and then come back and do the washes. All right, we are back. I took an opportunity to go ahead and touch some grass while these guys were finishing up their drying. The one thing I did do off screen, though, was I did go ahead and put a little bit of cork brown on this shoulder pauldron and this kneecap. I think we're going to highlight those in with some flat flesh tone in the same way that we did for the Fire Blue Stormcast, and that should look very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to go ahead and do the Royal Blue wash for both of these guys, as well as a Stab-grot up there. The one thing in between... How do I put this? We're going to go ahead and do the highlights in tomorrow's episode, I think. I'm going to go ahead and just do those. Why can I not talk all of a sudden? I've lost all my charisma from the beginning of this. We're going to start with the Royal Blue wash for the models themselves. I still need to do an Emerald wash for the bases, and I can't do it now because that blue wash is going to get everywhere, and I'm going to have to do some touch-ups, definitely, because washes just always get everywhere. So, in between now and the episode I'm going to put up tomorrow, where we do all of the highlights and whatnot, finish up the weapons, finishing up all the armor and stuff, and do the highlights on here, doing the eyes and the teeth. In between those, I'm going to finish up the bases here, at least get them through, put some intermediate green to do these cattails, black-red for the heads, and then a wash of emerald. So that is the one thing I'm going to do off screen after this ends, but for right now I am still going to walk you through the wash of Royal Blue. We're going to take care of that, and then we'll be back tomorrow to go ahead and do those other highlights and wrap these guys up. So let's just go ahead and continue with that. And once again, thank you to all of you guys who have made it this far. You are absolutely amazing. All right, I am going to need plenty of water for this wash, and I'm going to need, not a lot, but quite a bit. Matte medium next. We're going to do about 2 to 3 times matte medium for the amount of paint that we're going to use. Got to leave a little bit of room in there so we can actually mix it, though. And here's the Royal Blue. There we go. Now, I've had probably the most common question I get about my hobbying is always, how do I do my washes and how do I make sure that they are the right consistency and whatnot? And I can tell you what that secret is. Patience, 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 testing, testing, testing. That is way too thick. That is way too thick. That needs a lot of water. In fact, I'm actually just going to go ahead and scoop some of that out and split this in half. Let's see how these look. It's looking a bit better. Let's test them out once more. Test them 2 times, test them 3 times, test them 4 times before they end up on your models. Test them 5, 6. Alright, how's that look? That's more what we're going for. That actually might be a little bit thin. But, no, I think that's actually good. How's this one? That one looks good. That one's a little bit thicker. It's okay. Looking good. Let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I would like to do the emerald wash on screen, but in the interest of not making you guys sit through a ton of drying, I'm just going to go ahead and do that off screen. All right. Not really a point of putting that on there. We're going to repaint the weapons anyway, but oh well. Yeah, this is already getting everywhere. Ton of corrections are going to have to get made to the bases before I do the not a ton, but I'm going to have to make corrections and then do the actual emerald wash, and that'll be another thing that has to sit practically overnight. And yeah, I could just pause the recording, but I don't like leaving it sitting around for a long time. Half an hour was already kind of a long time. You never know what can go wrong. Computer could lose power, I could lose all my save, you know. That would be heartbreaking. Okay. I don't know why I'm putting it on the Stormcast down there. That's okay. Alright. Also, I apologize if it's slightly darker in here. I didn't start recording until like 5. So it might be a little bit dark, but that's alright. Still want to keep it in the recesses, but I want to dab away the excess. That's looking pretty good, actually. I'm going to try to get this extra out from around his feet, because there's already going to be a lot of it. Alright, more places it needs to get. No! Back of the shield looks good. Inside of the clothing looks good. Helmet looks good. Actually, might even dab a little bit of that away. It's good. The weapon, not worried about this. I'm actually going to repaint that in white at the beginning of next episode anyway, so super not worried about that. Underneath the arms, armpits, in between the legs. I could use a little more in there, I guess. Not much. If I can get in there, that's gonna be the real problem. There we go. Alright. And dab away that excess. Okay. Go. That is absolutely gorgeous. Maybe use a little more in there. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. That skin is going to look fantastic when it's dry. The little spike on the other Stab-grot we did a few months ago actually broke off just recently. Had to be glued back on. That was a pain. But you make guys with a lot of spikes. I suppose that's going to be the reality of it. Of any time you move them around or put them in a diorama or something like that. In between his legs. Yeah, armpits, under the helmet. Step away a tiny bit. If you're wondering why I'm blowing on them, it's to get out any bubbles. When you mix washes by hand, they happen. You have to just sort of get used to it. It's just inevitable. He's looking good. I think that Stab-grot is all set for the night. He's good. Oh, he's got some of that blue on him from when we blew it. Let me get that off. Not the end of the world. Oh, it's already dried. Oh well. Not the end of the world. Yeah. If I'm already gonna have to touch it up, may as well just not worry about getting it on the banner. Get it in every nook and cranny, every crack and crevice. Needs some blue. Oh, I'm so excited tomorrow to do the cloak. The others have turned out so well. I'm very excited. Oh, almost totally missed this. Almost totally missed that spot. Obviously, we're going to come back and highlight all these individual armor panels. Just flat sections. I should really move those guys so they don't get splattered. Yeah, I'm going to have to repaint most of this with that cork brown. That's okay. Again, not the end of the world. And I do still like having the base layer of cork brown on there because it, like I said, helps just give that perspective. If there's not a lot of white, or at least the primer color, visible, I feel like, personally, it allows me to see more where the model is headed. And I think he is ready to go. There's a few more small spots. I have way too much wash, but that's usually how it goes with washes with me. Not the end of the world. There's not that much paint in it. It's mostly just water and matte medium, so I don't mind mixing too much wash. That's the nice thing about it. But yeah, I think we're all done here. Yeah, a little more on there. Got between his legs, armpits. Helmet. Yeah, beneath the helmet's all good. Everything along the weapons, backside, yep, all good. Maybe taking a little of that off. Well, I'm not really worried about getting in those cracks, crevices, because it's already painted in royal blue. So yeah, I think that we are done here. So I'm going to give these all night to dry. I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow, where once these guys have completely dried, we're going to come back and do some extra highlights. Specifically, we're going to come back and do the flat green and use that on all of the individual armor panels on the Cruel Boys, touch up that cork brown. I'm going to paint this Stormcast with some silver, and then, like I said, silver for the Stormcast, intermediate green for these cattails, the actual stalks, black-red for the heads, and then give this, once it's been touched up and all that blue has been cleared away, a wash of emerald green. Same here, a wash of emerald green. We'll do the dry brushing tomorrow. But yeah, once these guys are dry tomorrow, I will see you guys. Yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys have a fantastic night, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.